Welcome back, everybody, to episode 3 of Sportsfellas.
Yeah. Here it is.
All right, fellas. Okay, well, hey, let's start off with an introduction. To my right, I have
Chris Jolly, your boy.
Your boy Brent.
Your boy Shady Brady.
Justin checking in.
This is Chuck.
Isaiah El Machine.
Taylor Made.
Hey, welcome, you guys. Hey, we got some new people on board. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
So before we get it started off, let's give a quick shout-outs to our friends and loved ones. Chris, you got anyone to shout out to?
Yeah, just my wife and kids. Love them.
Yeah, shout out to my other half. Today's my birthday, and she let me come here instead of going out to dinner. So I'm probably in the doghouse, but I love you, baby.
I don't really have any shout-outs right now.
Oh, boring.
Hey, shout out to the 2020 World Series champions, Astros.
Yeah, I'll second that. Let's go ahead and pass the torch off to the Rockets now for the season.
Shout out to my pops, Lawrence Hernandez. That's my boy.
My buddy Travis. Go Ravens.
All right. Well, hey, let me start off. Thank you for you guys for coming. I want to do my shout-outs to my friend Kiki, Roll Tide. Always number one. I want to thank my friend Sonia, Lane Bliss. Follow her. Thank you for your words of encouragement. I want to thank Todd and Mr. Calloway, the Vikings. Go Vikings. And all the crew out there at Menards East in Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, everyone, for listening. To my good friend Chris Mauser at Residential Resources. Thank you for your support. Mm-hmm. And my good friend Brandon and Yoli out in Vegas. Thank you for tuning in to you guys. Go Ravens. All right, you guys. So we've got a lot to cover. So we're going to start off with the NFL week. So we've got some surprising teams that are undefeated besides the Patriots. So I'm going to hand this off to Isaiah. Here is the 49er fan. So what's going on, Isaiah? Guys are 8-0. What's going on
What
over
can
there?
I say? We got a great defense. We got a pretty good, I would say, offense, even though nobody wants to give us our respect. I don't understand. Jimmy G, he's 16-2, and I can't get no respect for my boy. And then we do it on the special teams as well. That's why we're 8-0.
All right. Hey, Brent, what can you recant on that?
Well, 49ers have really just played two good teams. I'd say, they kicked the crap out of the Rams, so we'll give you that for sure. And the Panthers too, right?
Panthers.
And the Panthers too, right? So I'm gonna sound a lot like a hater right now, but 8-0. I think they finished the season with 5 losses.
Wow, you're going to be cut off. He's going to be cut off.
All I gotta say, if it is easy that because of scheduling to go 8-0 because of your schedule, why is Green Bay got a blemish? Saints got a blemish. And, of course, we got to talk about these Cowboys that started 3-0, and then they go, lose 3 in a row. And to the Jets, no, mind you.
The Jets.
Oh, my gosh. They were 0-4, and the guy was coming off mono. Maybe they were scared of getting mono, and they didn't want to touch him, but come on now.
Okay, well, on that, so on the other side, the other team that's undefeated is the New England Patriots. So I'm going to give this to Justin. So let's talk a little about New England. All right, so shout out to the New England fans. What are we looking at right now with New England going forward?
As we have talked about, New England now has, as things have panned out, the easiest strength of schedule, which is the best thing that the NFL could have done. I mean, who doesn't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again? Like, I know I do. It's a fantastic idea. No one does.
And how do you feel about that, Chris?
Hey, they're trying to recreate what they did. Was it the 07 season? The 18-0? Didn't quite get there. They're trying to break the Dolphin streak, maybe the undefeated season. So
go ahead.
Their biggest thing is like looking at their schedule now. Ravens, Eagles, Cowboys. No, Cowboys will be an easy win for them. Texans, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins. Like the end of their season is going to be what? Preseason games?
Yeah.
Like
wow. There's two losses right there, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you just said it. There's 2 losses for sure, and what
100%.
you just said.
So, Chris, you're going to let them talk to your Bengals like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This next game coming up, I think the Ravens game, that's going to be their biggest, hardest, toughest game for the next half of the season, really.
Now, on this, so on New England's defensive side, Chuck, help me out here. So what do you think Bill Belichick's going to do tomorrow to contain the high-octane Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, and the receiving core of the Baltimore Ravens? What do you think the game plan going to be for Mr. Belichick?
Well, with their secondary, it's easy. He is a great passer out of the pocket. He does work under pressure, but whether you're calm or out of the pocket, that secondary is going to do something to you. He's going to have mistakes. And how he progresses or how he adjusts from there, maybe second half adjustments, is going to determine his level of, game-changing abilities to keep up with that. I think what's going to affect this game more than anything is the defense is going to put up numbers. They're going to probably get a score or two, or they're going to get points off of turnovers. And then if they can't answer with anything more than just field goals, then it's going to get out of hand, and you can't come back on the New England Patriots defense right now. You can't score 14, 13 unanswered points on them, not this moment. Like, they're just – defense wins championships, and then Tom Brady wins championships. So
Duly noted. How about you, Brady? What do you think the game plan going to be for tomorrow?
Well, if Patriots gonna do, they're gonna go in there and pass the ball just like Tom Brady does and run, because that's all they do is they just run.
What running game do they have?
Well, don't they have Sonny Michel?
You got Sonny Michel, you got James White, you got Devlin.
Burkhead.
You have the greatest running back
out,
of all time,
I'm
and Tom
sorry.
Brady.
Like I said, what running game do they have?
They've put a pretty good one together.
Well,
though.
Taylor, I'm going to hand this to you. You are a Ravens fan
It's
here.
not
What do you think
Ravens.
the game plan is going to be for tomorrow to defeat the New England Patriots?
I think that Baltimore's going to have to run the ball right down their throat. They're going to have to play ball control offense, hold on to that ball, and they cannot play from behind, because anyone who tries to play from behind against New England does not succeed.
So on that real quick, Brent, so like what he said, run the ball behind. All right. I can't even say that right.
Nice.
But Mark Ingram, what he did to your boys, Kansas City last – I'm sorry, I got to pick on you
It's
again
fine.
for another episode.
I've got big shoulders.
But here's my question. Do you believe that Mark Ingram can do the same to New England like how he did to Kansas City?
Absolutely not. But I think that a couple of you are wrong. They're not going to run the ball tomorrow. Now, that's what New England thinks they're going to do. But it's going to see some play action. Jackson's going to dink it over to Andrews and those receivers, and I think that's how they win the game. And I'm calling it. The Ravens are going to beat the Patriots tomorrow.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that for now. We'll come back to that. So let's look a little bit now into our 7-1 teams. We have the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to start this off with Justin. So New Orleans Saints. So Drew Brees kind of hurt. Kamara was out one game, but hey, they're 7-1. Do you believe they're legit as the season's going on, or we're about to see a little bit of a change?
Week 8 is a really kind of an interesting time, because we're halfway through the season and we get these amazing speculations of what's going to happen. But with the Saints, we have had two completely different styles of quarterbacks play, and they're both succeeding. Like, as a Saints fan, knowing that Drew Brees is, on the back door of his career, you feel kind of comfortable with Teddy Bridgewater. But during this season right now, Drew Brees is going to be Drew Brees. He's going to step back in, rev the engine, they'll score 40 points a game in the Dome. It'll be great.
Okay, how about you, Chris?
We're talking about the Saints.
The Saints.
I
Who
really
dat?
like the Saints. I do this year. Their defense is still strong from last year. I think Kamara's hurt right now, but it probably will be just a couple weeks. And he's electrifying as it gets on the football field. And Breeze back. His hookups with Thomas. Didn't they set a record last year for the most completions on targets and some? It's just ridiculous. So
All I want to say, one thing about
I didn't say they're going to win at all. I'm just saying they're good.
But what I'm saying is, everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, great. He did a good job. He stepped in. That's what you
Game
hope your
manager, sure.
your backup quarterback's going to do for you. Win some games. He's won them all. But what I'm saying is, this team is not the same team outside as they are in the Dome. And if 49ers if it goes through the 49ers or even Green Bay, they ain't going to have a shot out of that Dome.
Well, speaking on that, Chuck. Okay, so the Saints, they proved they beat Seattle pretty bad. There goes one. Yep. And overall, they still got Carolina around there. I don't believe Carolina is 100%. I mean, yes, Christian McCaffrey, phenomenal player. Cam Newton he's visiting a foot specialist for his foot. But here's the thing, though. For the Saints, they're going to get the division. I'll give them that. But do you believe, here's the question, Chuck. Do you believe the Saints are going to run into the playoffs being the dark horse team, or do you truly believe they can match up with Isaiah's 49ers?
Well, they can definitely match up with the 49ers, and I think what it comes that X factor for that stat alone is depth. So your backup quarterback comes in and you've only lost one game all season. You have a good road win. You've been tested a little bit. Their division isn't great. We get that. But to have that happen in your season and know you're going to be okay, that's confidence, because Drew Brees is almost done. So he has to give the push. He has to give it all. He can't sit there and coach like Tom Brady does in that pocket that he's protected so well in. He has to perform to get that next Super Bowl before he's on his way out. If the Niners lose Garoppolo, they're done. The defense is great, and they can hold them. But I don't think without his playmaking abilities, that team can handle that. Your Kamara goes out and you're still okay. That speaks volumes to a team to have that kind of depth. If they do, they're going to coast through the division. They will win it, and I think that factor is they take the home field advantage. They will beat the Niners. Yes.
What do you got to say on that, Brent?
I agree. I'm gonna go with somebody that's been to the dance before. Breeze has been to the dance. Jimmy G. I'm not hating on the man. He's got some skills, but he hasn't been there before.
Yeah, he has on the bench.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right.
Watch it.
So have I then.
I mean,
how long ago was it that he did win it? My question, I forgot. When was it that he won?
Well, he probably arguably would have won a Super Bowl last year had the referees not screwed him over.
Okay, he does.
Right.
It was a better matchup. You know, I wanted to see the Saints with the Patriots. I didn't want to see the Rams. I knew that was going to happen.
Going behind on that point, like, San Francisco is not a hard place to play in playoffs. Like, you're talking about like Green Bay. You can't compare San Francisco to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Like, you go to Green Bay in the winter and it's the end of the day. Like, they went into Chicago and took care of business. Now, granted, it's early season Chicago. It's not the same kind of environment, but I understand, like, Jimmy G may play great at home, but we haven't seen a drop off in a away game Saints yet, because at the Dome, yes, like you said, they're fantastic. San Francisco hasn't shown that their home field is going to be something that's lights out, like a Green
And
Bay.
I understand that, but he said if we lose Jimmy G, we're out, okay? I don't really believe that just because of our run game, okay? And Nick Mullins, he is a pretty good backup. Is he going to go do what Teddy Bridgewater did, get lucky, cross his fingers while he's throwing the ball? I don't think so, you know?
Close your eyes.
But we have a great running game, you know? And our defense shows that they can do it.
It's
the
legit.
Mud Bowl.
For sure.
The
No,
Mud Bowl
definitely
against
defense.
Redskins. We go after the quarterback. And I'll tell you what, that maybe they stumbled a little this week only because it was a short week. And when you have a short week, that gives more to the offense than it does to the defense. And it shows something good on our side that we pulled it off even in a short class. And it's a divisional game. Those are always hard.
All right. So on that, let's talk a little bit about the Packers. Okay. Now, this is a team that they're impressive. I mean, we got Aaron Rodgers. So, okay, Brady, I'm going to give this one to you. How do you think Green Bay is going to be going into the season?
Well, if you watch the game against the Chiefs and him just lobbing the pass, somehow getting it to Jamal Williams in the back of the end zone, just because he was just throwing that away, and he just somehow knew that Jamal was going to be right there to catch the ball.
It was called the discount double check.
I just
Bringing
don't know
it
how
back.
he threw it because he was crossing both fingers.
Yeah,
both
I know.
I honestly, you guys are expecting it to be like some miracle against the Chiefs defense. Like, ooh, were they even there? Not really.
We're already starting to get a little feisty. Go ahead, Brent. Go ahead,
He
Brent.
brings up a point, though. That's why I think Green Bay is a little suspect. I mean, the Chiefs look like a top 3 defense, honestly, against Green Bay. I mean, they had the man running all over the field, almost getting sacked. So, if Green Bay goes up against the 49ers in the playoffs, he's in trouble. Right?
Green Bay is a tough team in the playoffs. So let's go a little bit more in depth real quick in the division. So let's just start it off. I'm going to give this to you, Brent. So in the AFC West, so you got the Chiefs and Raiders the Chiefs, of course, is ahead, and you kind of got the Raiders and Chargers that are doing mediocre. Who's going to win the division? And out of the Chargers and Raiders, who do you believe could take the wild card if they did get a wild card? Who would it be?
I mean, it's going to be a homer pick. I've got to pick the Chiefs, but I feel like their schedule out of the rest of the, AFC West teams is more difficult. We've got New England. We go to Mexico, which is always a weird game for teams, traveling there. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say Chiefs win the division. If I had to pick a team from that to win the wild card, I'd have to go with the Raiders, even though the Chargers, Phillip Rivers, are like a second half of the year team, so you can't count him out, even though it kind of seems like they might be moving away from him, maybe, from what I heard. So, just like that banner that just fell, you never know.
We're having technical difficulties
with Phillip Rivers. So,
as long as they don't treat Phillip Rivers like Eli Manning, I'll be okay. Like, just
I agree.
Just let him finish it out, and then tell him like, hey, maybe hang it up. We don't want this to get ugly.
He's got 14 kids to tend to.
I know.
He's got his hands full.
He's the guy with too many minivans for himself.
That's right.
Well, Chris, how do you feel about the AFC West?
I think it'd be fun for the Raiders, but like Brent was saying, the Chargers they just historically. I mean, it feels like they're always the last half of the season. Man, they're so dangerous and they're just nipping at the heels. So if they were able to get to the playoffs, it's going to be hard, I think, for either of them to get in as a wild card unless they really step up. And I do think it's Chiefs division. I mean, Mahomes should be back in a couple weeks at the most.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and switch it up to the AFC North. So we see your Bengals are struggling. Your Bengals, the Browns. I don't know what's going on there with Cleveland.
It is. It's nice.
Pittsburgh is finding a little bit their identity, but yet they're beating mediocre teams. And then we fall on to your team, the Baltimore Ravens, that are ahead. How do you feel about your Ravens going through the rest of the season?
They've surprised a lot of people, especially Lamar Jackson. I do think the schedule does get tougher as the season comes. We got, obviously, New England tomorrow. We have Houston. We have San Francisco. We have a couple teams. We still have some to prove. Still have to prove that we're a contender, and I think that we're going to show up, and we are going to prove to the rest of the NFL that we are one of the top. Yeah, we're a top team.
Thank you. Well, Chris, real quick on that note. So, Chris, since you being the Bengals fan, in your division, who do you believe could maybe take the division away from them if that was the case?
I mean, really, Pittsburgh's the only one that would have a chance, and they'd have to go on a pretty good run without Roethlisberger. It's pretty unlikely. Yeah. I think the AFC North is a one-team playoff team this year.
All right, well, let's go pay a visit down to the AFC South. So we've got so far the Texans and the Colts, like every year for the past, how many years, Justin? These guys are going at it.
It's been at least a decade.
All right, so I'm going to start it off with you. Who do you think is going to win the division, Texans or Colts?
I think the Jaguars. Nah, sit with me on this one. Sit with me on this one.
Minshew mania.
The Minshew mania. Now, granted, everybody's making fun of the mustache because it's Uncle Rico, but he can actually throw a football over those mountains. He can. Oh yeah. What really bothers me the most is our division is not like the last 5 or 6 years with Andrew Luck versus Deshaun Watson and then all the other 15 quarterbacks the Texans went through. You look and you see competitive football every week. It's not, the Titans just lost by 40. It's, wow, that was a close loss, or wow, they actually pulled that off. I'm going to wake up Sunday morning and possibly watch the game in England between the Jaguars and the Texans and think to myself, if we lose, we will not make the playoffs. It's not like hey, we have a chance. It just proves to me this division is different. We are falling behind. It was like watching a new Andrew Luck indoor set last week just tear apart the defense again. Every year, Colts every year.
How about you, Isaiah? Who do you think on that end?
I got to say I like Brissett. I mean, the guy he's amazing. I like what Deshaun Watson's doing, but I gotta go with the mustache as well. In Spanish it's called respeta el bigote. Okay? Why? Because you gotta respect that mustache. And those shorts. I mean, you a bad dude if you can do that. Okay. And again, Uncle Rico, I actually saw that happen. I saw it go over the mountains. Okay.
Wait, Brady.
Only Jim and G can do that.
I think I'm gonna go. Well, if I had to choose one of the 4 teams in this, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville because of what Minshew's been doing, and I've seen the Colts. They're all right, but yeah.
Brant, help him out a little bit. What do you think on that one?
Ooh, I'm going with the Colts. Like I said the last episode, Brissett's a bad man, and their coach has the fortitude to go for it on 4th down anywhere on the field. He's a big analytics guy, like I said, and partner all that up together. I'm going with the Colts.
All right.
Well, if I could add here,
go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
So that division is the only division in the NFL that is all of 500 and above.
Yeah.
So it is anyone's game because even Tennessee could pull this through. Mm-hmm. The Colts being the front runners, the Colts are probably going to lose to the Texans in Houston. They were that close in Indy. I think Houston will take it. We know J.J. Watt's out, and you think your season's over with. That's called dry rinse repeat from the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. He's not healthy anymore. Right. He is a factor, and he's always something to think of. Whitney Merciless is almost just as effective on the other end. Yep. So I still think the Texans can take the division. I don't think they will. I think Indy will because that's just what Indy does in the AFC South. But if you're going to give credit to Jacksonville because they have that factor, Tennessee is still a good team. I mean, that division is still so close. But I do still think it's going to be Indy's division.
Go ahead, Justin.
And he gives the perfect example of why we are the Houston hopefuls. Every sport, we kind of go, no, it's not our year. No. Not this year. Maybe next year. It's going to be next year. No, when we're healthy, it's going to be next year. No, every year.
All right. Well, on that, quick shout out to my friend Cole Kirkbride and family, and also to Gracie Petty, big Colt fans. No, I'm going for the Texans, you guys. I'm just saying, I feel the Texans got a little bit more caliber going forward, but hey, yet to be seen. So the AFC.
One thing I was going to say is I did like that play where he gets kicked and the guy still musters it up to.
Oh, yeah.
Who needs both eyes? Who needs both eyes?
Exactly. The guy said it in 300. The good Lord saw fit to give me one, give me 2. Take one, I got one.
All right. All right. So real quick, the AFC North. The Pats and the Bills. Oh, the East. Thank you, Jaws. I appreciate it.
Compasses are
the
hard.
AFC East. The Pats and the Bills. I mean, we already know New England is undefeated, and the Bills. They looked pretty promising at the beginning, and then they lose to Philly. That game was. I don't know. They forgot to show up, or let's go ahead and give this one to Isaiah. Isaiah, help me out real quick. Are the Bills even category worthy of being in the playoffs, or what are we looking at here?
I'm sorry, I don't got nothing to say about the Bills, obviously. The only thing I'm going to say about the Bills is I want one thing back, and that's Frank Gore. Buddy, come back to the Niners. We'll sign you for, when we are at the, at Miami, we're going to sign you for that day to come over, get you that ring we should have got you, in 2012.
All right,
that's all I want to say.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
There you go.
That's yours. Justin.
I mean, if you really do look through it, I don't know why, but I'm so excited when a team goes to the Super Bowl or the World Series or the NBA Finals a few times in a row because I'm like, oh, it's the Bills again. We get to watch a team lose 4 times in a row. It's gonna be amazing. I look at this team and I think, wow, there's nothing special. They ruin my bets every week because I'm like, this week they're gonna win. I know it, and then they lose or ruin something for me. There's just such an average team. You don't see mediocrity win big games late in the season.
How about you, Brent?
Man, listen. I can't stand New England, first of all. But I think this is the year that they're suspect. Now, they're undefeated, but look at their division, right? It's weak. But their offensive line is the most suspect thing that they have. And there's some good teams in the AFC that can get after it and rush the quarterback. So Pats are going to win the division for sure. Mm-hmm. And sad to say, but.
Okay.
Because they're 8-0, right? like the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh my God,
A
he's
lot
a
of
Cowboys
49er
fan.
love. All right, so let's shift it over to the NFC side. So we're going to go NFC West. So, Chris, we got the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, we already know the 49ers are undefeated right now, so that's already a set. But let's focus a little bit on the Seahawks and Rams. The Rams represented the NFC last year and got, that was the most boring Super Bowl I've watched so far. But for right now, let's focus on this. Russell Wilson, the Seahawks. They're above 500. The Rams, I believe they're above 500, aren't they? The Rams. Okay, so out of those two, if the 49ers go ahead and win the division, who would you take out of those two going to the wild card?
I think I would have to go with the Seahawks. I believe historically the loser of the Super Bowl the next year has a pretty rough go of it and rarely makes the playoffs. So that's one of my main reasons. And Russell Wilson is just throwing it.
Lights
Yeah,
out.
I mean he's nailing it down. So.
How about you, Brady?
Well, if you've watched the Rams, they've lost 3 straight, like Isaiah said. And Seahawks, with Russell Wilson doing what he's been doing lately, he's just been lights out and just like what Chris said over there. He's just phenomenal.
How about you, Chuck?
So that being one of the it's kind of like the AFC South, it's really a really good division overall. The Rams, I think Sean McVay is a big deal. He is one of the coaches of the future. He's kind of proved it. He has a great roster, but I think he takes each player and he makes them play to the best of their ability. And Russell Wilson is something else, but he doesn't have the cast. And Pete Carroll, I don't think, is as good of a future coach as Sean McVay is. Granted, I think that because their record already is above it, Seattle may carry it on, but they've got some pretty bad losses at home, and that was always their thing.
They've lost 2 games already at home, haven't
they? They don't ever do that. So to do that means your stronghold is now not a stronghold anymore. So I do still think that the division's going to the Niners. So you do pull a wild card, but the NFC is a really dominant conference altogether. It almost doesn't matter until come playoff time. You're not looking at Patriots and whoever. You're looking at the entire NFC playoff scenario.
And Isaiah, okay, so we already know the 49ers, you want them to go for the division. I get that. Okay, so if you could just share a little bit, help the community out there, especially those Rams and Seahawks fans. Who could you see maybe out of those two, if they would get a wild card spot? Who could you see okay, that team might get it?
I got to go with Seattle as well because of Russell Wilson. And the only reason I say that too is because Rams, I'm sorry, they tried to buy a Super Bowl last year, and that's kind of what's hurting them now. That's why they got rid of Akeem Talib. Why? To free up some money, So, I mean, the Seahawks, again, their offensive line, we're gonna be making Russell, run. We had a great game. That was kind of like one of those games to help us out, figure what we're going to do with Russell, with this kid. This kid is fast. This kid runs. But still, I believe more in the Seahawks than I do the Rams right now. And I'm sorry, but I think Pete Carroll he's a good coach because, he turned that place around,
He had, just like he did all through college, he had all-star players, and he had the defense to take him where he needed to go. And yet he still couldn't do it because they lost to the Patriots.
How many?
Well, that's because they didn't run.
Yeah, exactly. You
That-
got to
they
run,
should
you
have
run the
gave
ball.
the ball to
But-
Marshawn Lynch.
A
run the ball.
coaching decision.
Look, and think
Right.
about it. And
Pete
going
Carroll
back to
decision.
Ace is out, damn.
and going back to again, if we lose Jimmy G, what's it? Pats. The Pats shouldn't have 2 Super Bowls. If they give it to the Beast, he runs it in. If Shanahan, which I think he kind of sabotaged him. I don't know if he wanted to win a Super Bowl as an assistant coach. I think his first Super Bowl he wanted to do it as a head coach. So he started throwing it. Why are you throwing it?
The Atlanta
You
one,
make these guys get rid of their timeouts, and you win the game. And he didn't do that. That's why I said the running game. Who was the best? The best NFL player of all time they had for the longest time. Was it not from Cleveland, the running back? What was his name? Joe Brown.
Jim
No,
Brown.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah. Until recently, because it's a pass-happy league, did they put Jerry Rice above him. So it goes to tell you, we're going to take it back a little bit. Let's run the ball. And I think if you would have ran the ball, this guy, Mr. Tom Brady, he would have had 4, which does not beat what do you call it, Mr.
Joe Montana.
Because Joe did it perfectly. 4 Super Bowls, 4 wins, and he didn't ever throw an interception at the time.
Are you gonna tell me that you're gonna compare Tom Brady to Montana? But I mean, what? Derek Jeter won 6?
6, right?
Oh, we're saying he kind of got lucky. It's fine. Nah, luck has everything to do with Super Bowl championships. Like the Atlanta thing, their strength, 100%, is 100% passing. You stay inside the lines, you don't go out of bounds, you're fine.
But of course, so in Madden. Okay, I'm going to take it in Madden. All right? In Madden. This isn't Madden, okay? This isn't Madden where everybody wants to throw and you get a shot. This is real life, okay? Why after, if you go get that first down, the other team exhausts all their timeouts, and you got 2 minutes left, they get the first down, what happens? They get the victory. They kneel, okay? In the Super Bowl, just freaking run it, and you win it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, that's duly noted. So how about the NFC North? So we got, so far the Packers are in the lead of there. So let's talk about the Vikings. So in a quick summary, I'm going to give this first off to Brent. Brent, do you believe the Vikings will have their revenge against Green Bay?
No.
Okay.
Here's why. As we've talked about in previous episodes, I don't trust Kirk Cousins. Which guy's going to show up? Thielen's a little bit banged up. I think he's playing tomorrow, of course, but he's playing not at 100%. And the Packers they got a good defense. So, no revenge there. Minnesota, you can go to sleep early.
How about you, Taylor?
I think the X factor for Minnesota is Dalvin Cook. He's just a beast this year.
Okay.
And, people can't stop him. So if they can just feed him the ball, Kirk Cousins at least shows up. They have a chance.
How about you, Chris?
Something?
Hold that thought. Because if it's 49ers again, I'm going to cut you off.
No, it's not 49ers.
Because
Go ahead.
next one would be at the Packers, right?
No, it's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota? Okay, yeah, then I would go Minnesota. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's actually started playing a little better. He's up there near the top of the league in efficiencies this year.
Chuck?
So when they had that little riff in the locker room and Thielen calling him out, they got it together. Dalvin Cook let the pressure off, and he was able to perform like his paycheck shows he should. So I think they put it together a little bit. The Packers playing that game that late in the season, I think Aaron Rodgers is starting to become a injury-prone quarterback towards the later of the season. So if he can stay healthy, he may, but I still think that run game and taking the time of possession away from Green Bay, take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, he can't score. So I think Minnesota will win that at home, being late in the season and having that strong run game.
Okay. How about you, Brady?
Well, lately Cousins has been great of lately, but he gets in these weird spurts of going good, or he can go super bad, throwing 4 interceptions.
He's coming.
And then I know it's going to happen because it's going to happen against some team down the road, because it's going to happen when he goes and plays Chicago, because they just rush him all day long.
Well, what's going to happen to the Chiefs? They're playing your team tomorrow.
That.
Oh man, is right.
Britt, you want to take this
I'll
one?
wait. I mean, we got plenty of time.
Hey, he by proxy. Listen, the Chiefs will probably lose tomorrow, and I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm just gonna say that's it. That's all.
Now
I got.
okay. So real quick, is Patrick Mahomes? Is he going to play tomorrow?
You better not.
No,
I don't think
As
so.
of what we heard, of what we've heard lately, he's not gonna play till when we go to Tennessee, is what they're planning on shooting for. They're gonna start Matt Moore one more.
Okay,
game.
one more time.
Yep.
So the Vikings, what time are they playing?
I think it's a noon game.
it's a
isn't
noon
it?
game. Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys believing this thing that they're saying about Kirk Cousins when he plays at noon? He's got a way better record than when he's playing at night.
100%.
Andy Dalton is similar to that.
Yeah, so if you see that the 3 games that he put it together, they were all at noon, right? Then he plays the Redskins, what was it, Thursday night or was it Sunday night?
Thursday
Thursday night?
Yeah.
He didn't do, they had a real big
It was
problem
rough.
against him.
Any other team besides the Redskins actually rips apart Kirk Cousins the way he played.
Yeah.
Any other team.
And then you get that doubt again. Can he do it, in a bigger game or at a different time?
He just needs to eat breakfast for lunch.
No, there it
When he
is.
plays the
Yeah.
3 o'clock game,
is.
then he'll ball out. That's all he needs to do.
If he
Sleep
eats some
in
glass,
there.
He just can't-
believe in yourself.
He just can't wake up
Eat
till
those
4.
glass.
That's right.
All right, so real quick, you guys, how about the NFC South? And will be real quick. I mean, because overall, we know the Saints are probably going to win the division. Do you truly believe that the Panthers have any hope? Or okay, well, just for fun here, the Buccaneers. Do you think they could maybe get a wild card spot? I mean, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, no.
Okay, Taylor, how about you, Taylor?
I mean, are they starting Jameis?
Probably,
Yeah, they're gonna.
probably.
They've got some good receivers, but and they have Bruce Arians, but just as a team, I don't think they can get that playoff spot with Jameis under center.
Okay, well, now, everyone beats up Jameis, okay? But just to tell you what he did, Jameis Winston, okay? Against the Niners, obviously, he had a bad outing, okay? He threw 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. But look at this. Then he goes to the Rams. He throws 385, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, okay? Against the Saints, 204, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Against the Panthers, 400 yards. Yes, that's the one that he just crapped the bed because he threw 5, interceptions. I mean, what do you do?
That's Jameis,
The guy,
though.
yeah.
That
but,
is. He's
you
one
know,
of the most
he's-
up and down quarterbacks. In the
and
league.
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Are we so in love with all these stinking yards that a guy can pass, can throw when you're going to lose the game anyway? But you can't put it all on Jameis. He's trying to do something,
Duly noted on that. But real quick, Justin, I'm gonna give this because I know in your heart you're a big Cowboys fan. So
Deep down.
real,
Got me.
Just a few years without the Oilers.
so real quick, last but not least,
Corrupting.
the NFC East. Who do you think is going to run away with that division? So far, that's looking pretty good is the Cowboys and mediocre Eagles. I mean, I'm not crushing on the Eagles, but they're playing here and there. Who do you think is going to take the division?
I'm gonna go ahead and take the best advice I've ever been given. I'm gonna plead the 5th.
Nice. How about you, Chuck? Show some love to that Lone Star State.
Yeah, well, so Dallas is going to pull it out. Like they're going to be the team that they were supposed to with that roster, and they're going to do like Dallas does. They'll lose the opening round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's Dallas's to lose, in my opinion. Although Philly, I mean, they've been there, they've done it recently, so
They need Foles back.
Is that Foles?
they need
magic,
Carson
baby?
Wentz to start playing like he should be.
How about you, Brent?
Going against the grain, I mean, I think Philadelphia is going to win the division. They've been running the ball. I mean, Jordan Howard, and that's who's been, just playing good football, man. So I don't trust the coaching from the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that this will be his last year because Philly will win the division, and that'll make a lot of waves with Mr. Jones, and he gone.
All right. How about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I think like Chuck said, Dallas will secure the division, make it to the first round of the playoffs, and do what they do every year.
All right. Well, that's kind of summarized that. So let's go ahead and take a brief pause and thank our sponsors and thank you guys for tuning in to us at Sportsfellas here. Please follow us at razorcutinfo.com and also follow us on YouTube. We are also on Spotify and we are opening up some new channels. So probably pretty soon you'll hear us on iTunes. Now we're doing that giveaway still for lids. So if you like and subscribe and you put your name and email, like us, follow us, and hey, you're in the drawing for a free hat. So want to go ahead and take this brief pause and thank our sponsors.
We all have bad luck sometimes, but accidents don't have to be a disaster. Ernie Ruelas is exactly what you need. A dedicated and friendly State Farm agent. He's the best choice to help you manage the risk of everyday life and recover from the unexpected. Contact Ernie at 316-682-2300 or visit him at 11330 East Central Avenue in Wichita, Kansas. Let him put your financial worries to rest so you can realize your dreams.
If you're in Wichita looking for a good meal made with traditional Mexican recipes, you should head over to Felipe's at 2211 North Woodlawn. Start off with some nachos and add chile con queso, freshly made guacamole. Enjoy delicious entrees ranging from classics like enchiladas, huevos rancheros, and flautas to their famous pancho villa and ceviche. Finish off with a sweet dessert of sopapillas, flan, cheesecake, or fried ice cream. So bring friends and family and meet the friendly staff and enjoy the evening at Felipe's, winner of the Best Mexican Food in 2019 by readers of the Wichita Eagle.
Have you ever gotten a cheap haircut that looks like the best work a weed whacker could do? Let's fix that. Primetime Barbershop is a professional 5-star establishment with an eye for detail and quality. For your great haircut experience, head to their location at 727 West 13th Street North here in Wichita, Kansas. Just remember that Nelson, Ivan, and the rest of the skillful team are in high demand. So schedule an appointment at Primetime Barbershop at www.schedulecity.com.
All right, you guys. Well, welcome back, and thank you again. So, the game of the week, we got Baltimore versus New England. We kind of already discussed a little bit about the pros and the cons, but let's go just a little bit more in depth. So, I'm going to start this off with Chuck. Baltimore, what do you think they would have if they have a chance against New England?
Oh, that's their quarterback. I mean, he's explosive. He makes big plays out of the pocket, and I know it's halfway through, but he hasn't been deterred yet. They talk about injuries to mobile quarterbacks. You don't lay a hand on him even when he's out there. He slides, he throws the ball away. He makes smart decisions for a mobile quarterback. So I think that with their run game, and not if you want to stack the box and force him out of the pocket, he'll hurt you there too. Those receivers are decent. Secondary is great for New England, but if he makes the plays and they get up on New England, I think they can hold that strong and be all right.
How about you, Brady?
Yeah, I got to say, with Lamar Jackson being the quarterback that he is, I think that's going to make them accelerate possibly to go for the upset. But if I'm going to have to guess, Tom Brady is going to come out and do his Tom Brady thing and somehow win.
How about you, Chris?
I'm going to go a little against the grain on this. I really think New England's going to pull this one out. It hurts to say that a little bit. I'm not a big New England fan at all, but I really count on Belichick. That defense is great. I think they are going to expect him to run, like you were saying earlier, Brent, and I think they're going to stop that and make Lamar Jackson try to throw and beat him. And I got to pick Tom Brady over Jackson. He's a great talent, but Brady's still Brady.
All right, help me out, Raven fans. We need some love here. Taylor, help us out. You're the forefront. Come on, where's the love at for Baltimore? What do you think they're going to do to beat New England?
You know, like I said, I think they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to minimize turnovers. Lamar Jackson's going to have to, be Lamar Jackson, make plays out of nothing. And no one does that better than he does with his legs. And I just think, the X factor can come down to the kickers, actually. Justin Tucker, best in the business. New England, after their kicker got hurt, they signed a guy who's not doing too well, and that can come back to bite them. So,
how about you, Justin?
To beat Tom Brady, you have to out-gunslinger Tom Brady. Like, you cannot sit back and think 20's enough, 25's enough. You have to play the game as if the only way to beat him is score 100. And if you score 100, you may not even beat him.
Okay. Isaiah?
I want to see Ravens win, obviously, because I want them to have that blemish on them. But I think it's the coach. I mean, he's going to take out the best weapon that Ravens have. That's the quarterback. Bill Belichick, he's the best, and so he's going to do that.
I'm telling you, they're going to stack the box, and Lamar is a bad dude. He's going to dink and dunk the ball over the field tomorrow, and they're going to win by 14 points.
Ooh.
I promise you. They're going to win by 14 points. And this is coming from a Chiefs fan.
Do you do you bet at all with Las Vegas? Because you must lose a lot.
What's gonna happen?
Hey,
14
rewind
points.
back to the last episode. I got dang near every one of my picks right. If you guys
That
don't
is
remember
true.
that, so
That is
Spot
I'm telling
on.
you.
Yeah.
Well, the sun shines on the dogs, but
The clock is right twice a day.
You've got my phone number, gentlemen. I will be texting you and letting you know when I'm right.
If I can add one real quick bit.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Bill Belichick coaches for the Super Bowl. This is an AFC title game bout. He's not going to play to win. He's going to play to expose what Baltimore can and will do in under pressure situations. So he may take the loss. Doubt it's going to happen at home, but if he does, it's for a reason. And it's because what he learns come tomorrow, he will make up for in the postseason.
The hoodie.
Chuck, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal because I've seen it. We've all seen it in both AFC championships. I remember what year was it when the field goal kick? Remember he just missed that one, and then the other one that they won. It was a in the trenches kind of game. But overall, here it is. It's Sunday night. Baltimore finally gets somebody that's to that caliber. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna go for you. I'm gonna go for the Ravens.
I think we're all going for the
But
Ravens.
check this out.
Let's
Here
go,
it is.
Pats.
This is my prediction. I believe that Mark Andrews, we're going to see a lot of the tight ends come in tomorrow, and Mark Ingram getting the ball. So let's go ahead and switch out of the NFL, you guys, and let's focus on the college rankings. A lot of shakeup going on. So number 1 is LSU. Go Tigers on that end. Number 2, Roll Tide, Alabama. Number 3, your Ohio State
Bucks.
Buckeyes. And number 4, Clemson. All right.
Defending national champions.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this to Brent. So, you don't like? What do you think?
I think the rankings are, where they should be. If I had to pick one of those teams to win a national championship, though, I'm going to go with his Bucks. They're stacked. They're just stacked, and they play a conference that's it's tough. So they're going to be tested, So there you go.
All right, Brady.
Well, if I had the overall standings right now is pretty much consistently right where they should be. And then because Alabama is kind of hurting on the quarterback situation since he's kind of hurt right now.
Kinda. He had a surgery.
Well, I guess, yeah.
He's fine.
He'll be back in a good solid 3 weeks. He'll be fine.
I thought he's coming back
Windex
pretty
fixes
soon.
it.
How about you, Justin?
He's got a lot to say.
I do. You look at this and the team that's not on our top 4 that we talked about, it's always an SEC game. It's always going to be SEC driven. I've lost so much interest in watching Alabama for the last quarter of my life.
Really?
Listen, it's so much fun to watch somebody, and I sound like such a casual fan saying this, but with the college aspect of seeing all these different players and guys that we will eventually see playing on the big stage, it is so boring to watch the same team go after each other every year. They're in the same division.
How about you, Chuck?
As far as the top 4 go, or the rankings and this and that, and I think in a couple weeks they come out with the actual playoff rankings, which is what matters come season time. It just keeps the conversation of college football. They went to the playoff, kept everybody interested because the BCS was running down, or they were running down the fans, and the fans were going away. So they brought it back, said, "Okay, we gave you a playoff. So now here's your rankings. Keep you posted. SEC this, and it's going to probably be a 2 SEC team playoff. Absolutely,
Always.
It's just how it works. Their strength of schedule dominates. They do well against certain teams, and they beat up on each other left and right. Georgia was in it a week ago. They're done. OU was in it a week ago. Now they're done. So the teams don't help themselves against the SEC dominance when they lose these games that they probably shouldn't. Ohio State does it every year. They win every year. They need to, and they don't make it all the time, but they still won one recently. So they put up a good, opposition to the SEC. Right. But Jalen Hurts goes out, or not Jalen Hurts, I'm sorry, Tua goes out. Alabama dominates last weekend. So they're going to make it. They're going to be all right. They're going to take on LSU in Baton Rouge. LSU will probably win that. And Alabama won't go that. They won't drop that far. They're going to have 5-6 teams in the top 10 from the SEC. But Clemson being number 4, why? When they went into the playoffs last year, and they dominated. They beat the garbage out of the most dominant team in the league at the time. So for Clemson to be 4, I think is a little bit. I think it's a little, hey, kick you while you're down kind of deal. They'll take it though. Dabo doesn't care about what he's ranked. He knows he's going to make it. He's going to get there and he's going to show up. I honestly think what's going to happen is going to be Ohio State Clemson. If the seeding goes right and they do it like they should, and put 2 SEC teams in the opposite end of it, I think Ohio State wins and I think Clemson wins.
How about you, Isaiah?
I think it's KU.
Wow.
No, I think it's going to be Ohio State. I don't like them. They're trash to me, but because they beat up on my Michigan, But, I like Ohio State on this.
How about you, Taylor?
To be honest, I'm not a huge college football guy, but, I just got to listen to what these other guys say. Clemson's always a factor. Alabama's always up there. It's going to be some good playoffs.
Well, on my end, of course,
I wonder.
Roll Tide. But hey, I'm going to shake it up a little bit, okay? Of course, I talked to my good friend, shout out to John. He's a big Cornhusker fan, so all Nebraska fans, hey, this one's for you guys. We were in this discussion, and he was telling me about Ohio State. He truly believes Ohio State's going to win it all. So I told him, hey, on the episode, I will bring it up. So shout out to you, John. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Penn State. Now, I'm getting a lot of credit for this, but hey,
They got it.
watch.
5, I think.
The way that they're playing with heart right now. Yes, they barely beat Michigan. I get that. But you know what? This is a different Penn State team. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say we're going to dominate Ohio State. It's going to be, again, in the trenches. And again, this is what we're going to see in the Big Ten Conference, or how you guys call it, your championship, Big Ten championship. It's going to be Penn State against Ohio State. Alabama, roll Tide, baby, but he has a point. If we're going to play LSU is looking phenomenal. The way they beat Texas, they beat Auburn. They beat Auburn, and they're just a fundamental team to watch. So out of all this, how is it shaken up? I like how this is looking for now, and I do agree with Chuck. What we need to do is wait a little bit longer, so when we come back to the next episode, we will figure out how everything stands out. So let's go ahead, and we have some big fights today. So we've got the UFC fight. We got Diaz, and I apologize for saying his last name wrong. Masvidal. It's close. All right, so just real quick, who follows MMA here?
Watch a little bit.
A little bit. All right, so just real quick, who you taking?
I like Diaz's swagger, and he's a bad man. Plus, I think didn't he have like 13 wins by submission or something like that?
So
he's gonna submit. He's gonna submit him. He's gonna win that. You were saying earlier that belt, the BMF belt. We're not gonna say what it means here on the podcast. You can look it up. You can Google it. But Diaz is gonna win.
Brady.
I gotta go with Brenton on this one. I'm gonna go with Diaz.
All right, Justin.
Oh, if I was a betting man, which I am, Masvidal is going to give him a run for his money. But he is correct. 13 submissions is not something you just overlook. It's something where it's like fighting a viper in a box. Like anything you do could be used against you at any time. It's going to be a great fight, though.
I want to train with you. Chuck.
I'll take Diaz. He's got the experience, and his stamina is something else. Yeah. If you follow these guys' training regimens and when he fought Conor and whatnot, man, that's what it came down to was his stamina and his able to go the distance, because he'll take you if he needs to. He doesn't have to submit you. He'll take you to the end and he'll get you there. So. How
about you, Isaiah?
The one that I can only say that his last name Diaz. Good enough.
Duly noted. Taylor.
I think Masvidal is going to come out hot, and he's going to surprise a lot of people.
And just so we're on the same page, Diaz is the underdog at the moment. Yeah. Just a heads up.
All right. And and we also have a boxing match tonight, so we got Canelo fighting as well tonight. So now, Brady, who is he? Who is he fighting by chance? Can we get a stat look on that while we're waiting? Brent, who are you
You
taking?
don't even need to look up the other
No,
guy.
yeah.
It's
Okay, so that summarizes it. Canelo.
he's a good fighter, though. I mean, I don't
Okay,
remember
so we're all
his name
taking
either.
Canelo.
I mean,
It's
Canelo.
an easy. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Unless it's Triple G, I don't want to watch it. Like, I'm
Got
good.
it. All right. Enough said. So Canelo got it. All right. So now a little bit onto the NBA. So what is up with the Warriors? Summarize this, please. Start with Isaiah.
What do we think about the Warriors?
Surprise me to the audience. Anybody that's listening, help us out. What's going on with the Warriors?
Injuries. I mean,
All
that's,
right.
that's all it is. I mean,
100%.
are they going to win anything? I don't know. I don't think so. But you know what? What guy's coming back other than Steph Curry? I mean, that's it.
Chuck?
Yeah, the Warriors were pretty beat up, and I think at this point when they lose Draymond for a couple weeks, and Clay's probably not going to be rushed back because if they do and he gets hurt, their playoffs are done again. So they don't have KD. The power has shifted, and even as widespread as the Western Conference was, it's shifted now. The Clippers, Lakers, Houston, it's pretty much one of those three, and it's Golden State's just recoup year.
How about Brent?
Let's play a game.
Oh,
Okay.
I love games.
Can anybody name two of the Warrior starters that are starting tonight? Besides Brady, who might have just seen me look it up. Anybody name two? Can anybody name one starter?
Iguodala and Draymond Green.
No.
No, Draymond Green's hurt.
No.
Oh, he's hurt too.
Livingston?
Let me read you their
yeah.
starting lineup tonight. Kai Bowman, Jordan Poole, Glenn Robinson III, Michigan.
Jordan Poole, too.
Yeah, you're right. Eric Pascal and Willie Cauley-Stein. So being injured is an understatement. They're on a rebuilding. This is a rebuilding year for them.
Okay, go ahead, Justin.
I really do think like we are in Game 6. Aaron Rodgers said it the best. RELAX. 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 Like you got Steph Curry, who is the greatest shooter of my generation that will ever be.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that we're gonna have another Steph Curry. Like there's not. We just give it some time. It's gonna be okay.
Chris?
Long season.
Yeah, it's not Christmas yet, man. I'm
That's
not
fair
watching
enough.
much.
Fair enough.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't want to piggyback and kind of go back and forth with him on that. Steph Curry's a bad man, but he has no other weapons when he comes back. I mean, you can hedge two guys out on him and make somebody else beat you. So I'm telling you, it's early, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a rebuilding for the Warriors.
Have a lot of cortisone.
Yeah.
right.
And if we're gonna relax, we need tequila.
The trade deadline for them will be huge.
All right.
Honestly.
All right. So, Brady, on this, so one question asked for now because we're going to go in depth in the NBA season as the season progresses. Do you believe the Clippers are the real deal, or do you believe that the Lakers are finally coming back to prominence? Out of those two teams, right now as we speak, and then you can change your story later on if you want. Are the Clippers a real deal? That's all I want to know for now.
Well, they're decent right now, but I could see them possibly making the playoffs if every player actually plays to their standings.
Okay, how about the Rockets, Chuck and Justin? Are the Rockets real?
Yeah, of course they are. You can't tell me that those two players together aren't going to make a factor. Their record is what it is, but so you're going to make the playoffs because every team in the NBA makes the playoffs.
Yeah, dang
and
near.
then
Well.
that's when it turns on because you guys are right. The season's long. Are the Warriors done? Possibly, but it's a long season.
Yeah.
And then you want to ask if the Clippers are for real. They're absolutely for real. Kawhi Leonard is for real.
Yeah.
The Raptors were a good team, and Kawhi was the best player in the playoffs last year. And that was
Exactly.
why.
That was a fun series. Did you see that ring, by the way?
Oh,
that ring
it's beautiful.
Right.
I love it. To piggyback on him though about like the Rockets and stuff like that, we're sitting in an era of we're getting two veterans of the big three. Like we get to see how they grew and how they kind of move forward. It's going to be a real great season.
All right. Well, okay. Well, like I said, we'll have much more to talk about that. So pretty much to summarize everything up, I want to first first of all say that we're going to be introducing a new segment for all the soccer fans. You guys, we did not forget about you guys. We're going to have a soccer segment. So we will cover your English league, Spanish league, MLS, and Mexican league. So
Little League.
Be ready in the Little League.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe the Little League.
Yeah.
But be ready for that, you guys. And also, we will talk a little bit more about the NBA. We'll talk about the NFL, and we will be talking about the NCAA college playoffs. So before we sign off, any goodbye shout-outs? Start off with Isaiah.
Goodbye shout outs. I just want to give out a shout out and goodbye to my family. You know, my girls, they're doing better. They were sick, but they're doing good. And I also want to give recognition to my cousin, Nico Hernandez. Man, keep on doing your thing, man.
Oh, of course. He's a great fella, by the way. Great fella. Taylor?
Yeah, just giving a shout out to my my brothers, my buddies, and Carlos for bringing us all in here and having us talk about something that a lot of people want to hear.
Thank you. Chris?
Buckeyes.
All right.
Yikes.
Brent?
I wanted to say goodbye to Norma Jean. Two people got that joke. Thank you.
Brady?
Just want to shout out the good old Jayhawks getting ready to go play Duke on Tuesday night.
Champions
Already
Classic.
shifted
Oh,
from football
nice,
to basketball.
nice. All right, Justin.
I'd like to thank the Astros again for giving me a break from Houston sports. Thank you.
Tough break. Chuck?
Shout out to J.J. Watt, man. You do it every year. You're just a class act, and yet you're such a dominant player, and yet you get handed this misfortune of injuries, man. You stay strong, and you keep giving out.
Every year it gets hurt.
Every year. And, well, to sign it off, I want to thank Kyle. You represent Freedom Music. Thank you for taking time helping us out. So, million
out,
thank
Kyle.
yous to you. I appreciate it. And to the family. Also want to thank my friend Kat, holding it down over there in Mississippi. Thank you very much. And, of course, to our good friend Carolita and Dewan, thank you for hearing us. Lord knows that I appreciate you giving me this inspiration words to keep doing what we're doing. So other than that, thank you for tuning in, you guys, and please follow us, like and subscribe. And if there's anything we missed or anything you want to talk about, feel free, hit us up, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about them in the next episode. Other than that, thank you guys for coming in. We're out.
Hey.